Good morning. Hello. My name's Roger Harrabin. I'm the BBC's environment analyst. I've been reporting on climate change for about 23 years now, and I feel really happy and privileged to be here seeing so many eminent faces from business joined together to tackle what I think is, and I'm sure you think is, really the most monumental challenge that our generation is likely to face. And even the credit crunch impinging on it, I suspect, will look relatively small beer by the time we get to the end of the century, supposing the scientific predictions are right. Let me give you a few housekeeping notices first. Firstly, thanks for our sponsors, Carbon Trust, EnviroWise, the Met Office, Imago Group, who do video and conferencing, and DEA, an educational charity who help educate young people about climate change and other things. Obviously welcome on behalf of the CBI, although you will hear a little more about that in a minute. There will be no fire alarm planned today. If there is a fire alarm, staff will appear to show you your route. This conference will be recorded, so don't use foul or abusive language. PowerPoints will be available on the website on Friday. And in my notes, and I've never had this power before, and this, as a journalist, people think journalists have power. We don't have real power, we just have influence. Today I have power. If you misbehave, I will tell you not to misbehave. If you misbehave again, I will have you forcibly ejected. So this is fantastic for me. Things are really looking up. This is the most extraordinary time, isn't it? I have never personally been busier. We have had the government passing the climate change bill, the energy bill, the planning bill, all three of them attempting to bring joined-up government to climate change for the first time, each one with their controversial elements. But I don't think you could complain that the government is not attempting to look at it in a joined-up way. We've then got the Climate Change Committee reporting yesterday with what looks to me at first sight like a very impressive low-carbon diet book for the 21st century for the UK. And the government, a minister told me last week, are most likely to accept their recommendations for carbon budgets. And carbon budgets, what is this carbon budgets? Who on earth would have imagined 5 years ago that this government was prepared to commit to itself to firm, legally binding carbon budgets like financial budgets? Now, of course, we know financial budgets can be torn up and thrown away at the slightest necessity, and no doubt climate budgets will face the same pressures. But the point is that it's been done, it's there, and it's a very, very firm statement of intent. And we should be under no illusions here. The rest of the world is watching us. And if we succeed, they will follow. And if we foul up, they'll just turn away from it. So actually there's an awful lot of responsibility on our shoulders. It's something I'd like to take up with the Secretary of State when he comes later on. Business, of course, is key to all this. I'm from a business family myself. My father ran a building business in Coventry. My two brothers are involved in building and property development. And I've been fascinated for several years about the role business is playing and the very many inspiring examples I've seen. This last week, I was filming in Coventry at Modec, which is the first purpose-built electric van factory in the world. They can't sell in the UK. They're tooled up to make 2,500 a year. They're making at the moment, I think it's 420 a year or something, a tiny number comparatively. And they can't sell in the UK because the purchase price is too high. You get your money back after 3 or 4 years in London, maybe 4 or 5 years outside London. The van has at least a 12-year life. But nobody wants to buy it because they look at the upfront cost. What they want to see is subsidies for electric vehicles like they have in the States for the first $250,000 in order to get the price down. But they're not seeing that. And I think there's a lot of discussions, hopefully, we can have this morning about intervention and the role the government has to play.